Good morning once again. I'll begin by reading this morning's passage. It's from 1 Timothy 6, from verse 6. True godliness with contentment is itself great wealth. After all, we brought nothing with us when we came into the world, and we can't take anything with us when we leave it. So if we have enough food and clothing, let us be content. But people who long to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, and some people craving money have wandered from the true faith and pierced themselves with many sorrows. We're all well aware that lockdown has changed all our lives. For some families, it's been really tragic. We've lost family members or loved ones. Many have lost out financially, and it's often been those lower down the financial scale who've lost most and been reduced to the breadline. There have been a few gains, one of which is that people have been prompted really to ask what's important in their lives, what really matters for them, to begin asking the big questions. And today's passage takes on one form of ambition, the urge to make pots of money. And this is not about providing for your family or paying the mortgage. This is about the pursuit of money as the big aim in life, money for its own sake. The pursuit of money to the extent that it becomes an obsession, almost like a drug, a craving. And when Paul lists the results of this, they're pretty dire. Let me list them for you. He says there's temptation. Many foolish and harmful desires result. There's ruin and destruction, all kinds of evil, and people pierce themselves with many sorrows. And if all that were not bad enough, he goes on to say that some have wandered from the true faith as a result of their headlong pursuit of wealth. In other words, that is corrosive of faith, because frankly, they'd be putting their faith in wealth instead of God. And Paul very neatly deflates that ambition. He says this: true godliness with contentment is itself great wealth. If I can paraphrase that, if you know where you stand with God, you have already got it made. And Paul's message to a society that is focused on wealth and is becoming increasingly unequal and unfair, his message is this: enough is enough. True contentment is found in God and not in money. And our divided society needs to hear that. That would be true for the well-off, some of whom have come through the whole COVID and lockdown thing rather well. And on the other hand, those who may be less well-off at the beginning have found themselves reduced to the breadline, maybe dependent on a food bank as a result of losing a job and so on. The same message applies to them. You may have heard the story of two people talking about a wealthy businessman whose death had been announced. And the first one was speculating. He said, well, I wonder how much he left. And the other one replied, well, I can tell you that. He left everything. On the eternal scale, wealth, of course, is an irrelevance. It doesn't count. With one exception, that we are accountable to God for how we use that wealth. God bless you.